So let's go to our 40s. And the poster child for how to take control of your life in your 40s when you think you screwed everything up is your friend Mel Robbins. I have so much to share with you about this. The 40s were the best decade of my life. Well, actually, the 50s are pretty good too, but the 40s is where, holy cow, I went from rock bottom to climbing the mountain, and you can too. So, the lie that people tell themselves about their 40s is that if you haven't made it yet, then you're never going to. It's complete baloney. In fact, this was my story. At the age of 41, my husband's restaurant business was failing. I had been laid off from this job that I thought was going to be my ticket. And I felt like I had made every single bad decision in my career. I mean, I told you earlier about the number of career changes that I had had in my 20s. I kept bouncing from one thing to the other in my 30s. I mean, I'm talking another 7 different pivots. And so here I am, 41. I'm about 14 jobs in my career. It didn't look like a resume. It looked like a choose your own disaster adventure. And now I'm feeling at the age of 41, I've completely blown it. I've blown it. And not only have I blown it in my career, I don't have any money. We've invested everything in my husband's restaurant business. That's now failing. So you want to talk about that sense that you're not only behind, but that you've royally screwed it all up. I thought there's no way I'm getting out of debt. There's no way I'm getting the liens off the house. There's no way I'm going to be able to pay for my kids' college. There's no way I'm ever going to be successful in my career. That's how I felt at the age of 41. I wasn't just behind, I effed the whole thing up. And I'm here to tell you that you're just getting started when you hit your 40s. And one of the best things about being in your 40s is that even if your career or your financial life is a complete train wreck like mine was, you still are not starting from scratch. That's the coolest thing. Every single thing that you've done up until this point is actually building experience that you can build on. And so you're not too late. In fact, if you look at the life expectancy of 77, you're like got 37 more years. Do you know how much you can get done in 37 years? And here's the thing I want you to really think about. If you're going to hold yourself to a standard that by the age of 40, you should have things figured out, that means that you can kind of figure things out over the next couple decades, okay? You got plenty of time. And beating yourself up and telling yourself that you're lost and telling yourself that you've screwed up, do you know what that does? It doesn't motivate you. It actually makes you depressed. It makes you feel like a loser, and you're not a loser. You just have a winding path. You are probably just stubborn like I am, and you learn lessons the hard way. You explored a lot, and now you know a lot. And so you cannot afford to tell yourself this stupid lie that it's too late, that you're behind, that you've screwed it up, that you can't turn it around because it's complete BS. If I can do it, you can do it. And it's not just me. Do you know Vera Wang, the famous fashion designer, wedding designer? She started designing wedding dresses at the age of 40. Samuel L. Jackson landed that role in Pulp Fiction, 45. Julia Child, do you know how old she was? Famous French chef, Julia Child, when she published her very first cookbook. 49. And here's the other thing that you have in your 40s. You have a network of people that you know. You have a number of experiences. You have a lot of lessons that you've learned. And now, you know what you have in your 40s that you didn't have in your 30s? You have a sense of urgency. And you can use that to your advantage. Take everything that's happened in your career to this date and say, you know what? I'm going to figure this out in my decade. I'm going to triple down and I'm going to go for it. Your 40s aren't a finish line. Your 40s are the launch pad for the next decade of your life. That's what they are. It's where you can truly launch forward in your career. You can do something new. You can build on what you've learned, the mistakes that you've made. That's why the 40s are incredible. And by the way, the other reason why the 40s is really fun to do is because everybody around you is so distracted, typically raising kids, or they're engaged in their career, or they're doing other things that nobody cares what you're doing. So you can do anything that you want. And that is super cool. I mean, that's true about all the decades, but in the 40s in particular, you're going to notice people don't care as much, and you're not going to care as much either. Um, and here's another statistic that I want to give to you. Maybe things haven't worked out because you're supposed to do your own thing. Maybe your 40s is where you take that interest that you had, or that side hustle, or that thing you've always imagined doing, and you actually launch your own thing. Do you know this is research from a study at MIT's Sloan School of Business? The average age of a successful startup founder, 45. Kind of cool, huh? You want to know why the average age is 45? Because you have a certain amount of wisdom and a certain amount of failure and a certain amount of clarity after 4 decades of your life about who you are and what your strengths are and what you're interested in. And you're also sick of the BS. And so you can laser focus in on what you actually want to do. And for me, it was my 40s where I got tired of my own excuses and I forced myself to do it. And I think that's the invitation that your 40s have for you. If you don't like where you are, then stop listening to your excuses and use this decade to change your life. If you've been sitting around waiting for somebody else to come rescue you, stop gaslighting yourself and take responsibility for creating what you want. Because it was my 40s and that rock bottom moment that forced me to discover the strength that I have and the capacity that I have to do the things that needed to be done in order to change my life for the better. And regardless of whether you're successful or you're struggling like I was, you have that exact same ability. And your 40s are your invitation to get honest with yourself and get to work.